Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Excalibur Roundtable Tech Talk. I am Mike Fuson. We are continuing our extended Tech Talk series with our friends at HaloITSM. I have on the line with me today Tom Petley from Halo. Hey, Tom, good to see you again.
Hi, Mike. Great to be here.
It's always fun when we're able to get together and talk about all the fun stuff that is part of HaloITSM. And so in today's episode, one of the things that we wanted to talk about is knowledge management. As we've talked about before, Halo is a full ITSM suite. It's not modular. You don't buy the pieces of it when you buy Halo. When you buy Halo, you get all of the core ITSM processes. These ITSM processes are aligned with ITIL best practices. And so the process we're going to talk about today, which you buy Halo, everything we've been talking about, you get. So today we're going to talk about knowledge management. And our friends at Halo have done some pretty exciting things with knowledge management to make it a very full-featured knowledge experience for the folks that are building articles and the folks that are actually consuming the articles. We saw in one of our last episodes, or if you haven't seen the episode, go to the episode on the portal, where Tom showed us how doing a simple search will bring back knowledge articles and incidents and other things that may relate to you and your search. And so today we're going to look at, okay, what makes up the knowledge article? What are the cool things that we can do within Halo for a knowledge article? So Tom, take it away.
Cheers, Mike. Thanks a lot. Let me just share my screen here. Right. So today we're just going to focus on the knowledge base. I thought I would just kind of highlight some of the key features of it, and probably focus mainly on just showing you how to create articles, and maybe a little bit about how those articles can then be used and automatically suggested, for example. So this is our knowledge base, and you'll see here we have our knowledge base articles, and we also have our FAQ lists. And Halo has a concept of an internal technical knowledge base, so something that IT would use to help resolve incidents and even requests raised by users. We also have a concept of being able to publish those articles to FAQ lists. And the FAQ lists are how we give access to our end users on the self-service portal, and possibly on the intranet as well if you want to take it further as well. And then the FAQ list can be linked back to different groups of your users. So there could be, I don't know, a certain department might have access to this FAQ list, or it could even be a certain service that someone's subscribed to could then link back to certain knowledge base articles. So I wanted to quickly talk you through how an article is built in Halo and some of the functionality we've built around it. So just go to the plus, and you'll see here we can create an article here. I'm just going to keep it quite boring and just do an example article. And then we have a description of our article. And depending on exactly how you want your knowledge base to work, we can do the concept of a description outlining the issue and then the resolution of how we resolve that issue. If you prefer though, you'll see these fields aren't mandatory. We can simply just do a description, and it will just be a descriptive article of, I don't know, a piece, how to do this certain feature or certain set up something, for example. So you've got options there. And knowledge base is fully rich text enabled. So if I just start to type in here, you'll see this box expands. We can also paste in images. So if I just quickly grab just a small image there, and I can just paste that one in. So put an image in there. And a really nice feature as well is that we can embed videos as well. So I'm just going to go to this tab and grab a video. Let's go for the workflow one. And all we have to do is paste the URL in and into this button here. We can insert that. And that will just embed the video directly in the knowledge base article. So you don't have to click a link and go elsewhere or anything like that. The actual video is straight into the article. So it's a really nice way of just enhancing that user experience again and giving the user exactly what they need to as soon as they go into the article. If I scroll down, there's also the resolution, like I say. I will just put a brief resolution in there. Sorry, it's just dummy text today. The final box here is just internal memo, and this is something if you want to, so this article might be publishing to our users, but possibly want a bit of extra information if it's someone in IT looking at it from another perspective. And that's where the internal memo field comes in. As I continue to scroll, you'll see we have options to include attachments. So if you do want to attach PDFs or whatever it is, they can be attached there. And the next field here is the tag. And the tags are ways to kind of help the searching of the users, help to recommend the relevant articles. And there's a feature in here which, if we decide to link the tag back to the service or the category, that's going to help with the automated suggestion of articles. If I get time, I will quickly show you that now. I will just link this back to a printer. You'll see here it's suggesting categories. I'm going to link it back to that printer category here. And then the next option is we can relate articles. So an article may be about a certain topic, and then there might be a subsequent article which we think will be useful for users as well. In that sense, we can relate the articles, and then it will suggest the following articles afterwards. Let's just link it to that one there as well. There's a few more options here. So the next one here is the ability to restrict access internally. So it might be that this is an article just for the service desk team, or a specific resolver group might have this article. So we can restrict access internally as well. And then finally here is the FAQ list that I mentioned before, which is how we give access to our end users. And finally at the bottom is the review date, and that's our review processing. When are we next going to check this article is relevant, all the information is correct, and that just pulls through to our reporting and our review page within the knowledge base. So having created that, you'll see this article is now created, and you'll see the related articles at the bottom, and we've got voting here. Because I created the article, the voting buttons here are grayed out for me. But if I was a user or another agent, there'll be options to upvote it, downvote it, and that just helps us to know which articles are popular and which ones are relevant. Before I just switch over to the usage of the article, there's a few more bits here just to show you. So we do support versioning, so we can create versions of articles, and then we can always go back to previous versions if we identify any issues with newer versions. And then the review side of things, we can then review that article. I'm going to quickly switch over to the portal. I might as well reload that just to make sure it's got all the articles in there. And on the portal, Mike said last week, we did briefly show how it can suggest articles. But I just want to type this in. And you'll see here, we've got kind of tags. It is suggesting us these articles here. So when the user goes to the portal and just starts typing in, they'll very quickly find the relevant article. Then we can go into here and see all that information, see that video, see that resolution, and we can mark it as helpful or not helpful. And the more people that kind of view articles and mark them as helpful, they get promoted higher up the list as kind of more relevant articles and kind of more useful. And then you can always pull it into kind of widgets of top 5 articles and popular articles and things like that. One other thing to note as well is all these searches that go on in here, we store them in a search log. So if, for example, you don't find articles, if the user's searching for things and it's not returning anything, we have reports that come back to us which say, okay, we've got all these users searching for an article on, I don't know, how to set Outlook up on a mobile phone or something, and we don't have an article for it. That's where we want to kind of proactively create knowledge base articles to help resolve those questions before the user even has to raise a ticket with you. So lots and lots of functionality around that, which makes our knowledge base really powerful. Mike, I was going to possibly move on to suggesting articles. I can't remember if we covered that previously or not.
We've not. Let's talk about that.
Briefly talk about that as well. So we've obviously got on the portal, it's going to search here, it's going to suggest articles when we're raising incidents. I thought I'd take an example of if an incident's already come in, that it's come into the system, possibly this one. I'm going to rename this one. And you'll see here, an instance come into the system, the user's decided not to use a knowledge article, or it may be that we haven't got an end user facing knowledge base article, we've only got technical articles. You'll see here that Halo is suggesting us relevant articles, including this one I've just created. And if we click into that, you'll see that the article is now loaded up down the right-hand side for you to kind of work through yourself. And you can obviously make it bigger as well and pop it out onto new tabs using these buttons here. A nice feature I just wanted to highlight is the ability for, once it's suggested this article, it might be that you want to send it back to the user and say, oh, could you just try doing this, see if this helps. And for this, we've got these kind of handy buttons here. And the send with next action button is a really useful one. Just select that and then select email user. And you'll see here, it just populates a link to that knowledge base article and some text which you can configure, which goes into there. And it just helps us to kind of shift left, push that knowledge out to the users, get them engaging with the portal, and just kind of instantly, well, very, very quickly give the user hopefully the right answer. So it's just another really neat way of how we tie in the knowledge base with the kind of incident management, the request management side of Halo. Because quite often you find that people just don't utilize the knowledge base enough, and that's why we have kind of widgets like that and little bots to try and kind of bring all that together. I think, Mike, from my side, I think that's a nice little overview of the knowledge management piece. Yeah, anything else you think would be kind of nice for me to show today?
Well, yeah, I've got a couple of questions for you that may be interesting to our audience. Now, these articles are being viewed, say, a number of times on the portal. Do we have the ability is it capturing our view statistics so we know what articles seem to be being viewed most within the system?
Absolutely. So if I just go back to the knowledge base, you'll see here we're gathering views here. It's counting the views every time. And so we've got the views at the top, and we've also got the ratings underneath. So you can see the ratings, and this little number here is I guess the sum of it, positive, negative, balanced out. And then our default sort on here is the relevant/rating. So that's kind of doing an algorithm behind the scenes to say, this is the quality of the article based on the rating and also the number of views. We're going to suggest them at the top. But you do have options in here exactly how you like to sort it. But we're capturing all that data behind the scenes.
And that's fantastic. And one of the things that Tom and I have talked about and the Excalibur and Halo are working on collaboratively is also a KCS version of knowledge management, so knowledge-centered service, where we're looking to add some of the KCS functionality to the knowledge system for those that want to leverage KCS principles. For many folks, KCS is something that is an effort that organizations are embarking on. Here we've got some of the features that encompass KCS, but we're looking at some of the other features that are needed for knowledge-centered service that will be added in short order to the Halo platform. So a customer could choose to take a more KCS practice approach to knowledge management versus a more of a traditional approach to knowledge management. Of course, this covers pretty much all of the bases, as we've seen from what Tom's demonstrated for knowledge management. But in addition, we've got some of the great little features that customers always look for. How many times has an article been viewed? Voting is of course something that's also helpful. Hey, yes, this article is helpful. Hey, no, this article wasn't. It helps us as we're managing our knowledge to be able to take the appropriate actions and understand. And people will say, why are views an important metric? Well, what I've seen from a lot of our customers, when you look at an article that's highly viewed, it may be an opportunity inside of your organization for training. Hey, everybody seems to be having this, looking at this article that tells them how to do something. Maybe we haven't done a good job explaining to them how to do that. and the knowledge article is helping them, but maybe we could do some advanced training and knock, basically bring down how often that article is being used because we've imparted the knowledge. The other thing that we see all so often is, as we've all shifted from working in the office to working from home, you see different articles start to take front and center in their usage. How do I connect to the VPN? How do I get email on my phone? Things that people may not have been doing before, but now need to do within the, or within their within their space in order to be productive. And again, that's something that helps us as we start to analyze what's being used, how we as IT can better service the customers. So we've got, it's just so exciting to see all these little pieces, and when I talk to our friends at Halo, they, Tom will say, well, yeah, but wouldn't everybody want that? You see the attention to detail that Halo has paid to just knowledge management. And if you've watched our other videos, you see the attention to detail paid to every process area where we're looking at providing the best functionality that customers need, and we see customers ask for all the time in the ITSM space. And a current platform they may be using may not have some of these features and functions. And the folks at Halo think that these are features and functions everybody should want, and they're right. You guys are right. 100% of the time, these are great. They seem simple, but the impact that they can have for an organization is quite huge. So Tom, as always, I appreciate you joining me for one of our extended tech talks as we dive deeper into the world of Halo ITSM. Tom, I look forward to catching up with you on another episode of the Excalibur Roundtable Tech Talk. Thanks for joining me today.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Take care.